Over the past month, there has been a lot of discussion on the League subreddit about new player experience just being god-awful. This makes me wonder, is League of Legends new player experience really that bad? Well, after putting some thoughts into it, I totally agree that League of Legends have a barrier to entry, which is ironic as the game is free to play. So, how is a free to play game managed to have a barrier of entry, you might ask? Well, let's start with the game itself. League of Legends, being a game that is more than a decade old itself, is a barrier to entry. Sure, the game doesn't look bad considering that it was released in 2009 and have multiple graphical updates made towards the game over the years. But imagine trying to convince people to play a game that is 14 years old. Most people would naturally turn their back on these games as there are other games that is much newer, looks cleaner and probably just as fun. Riot also currently has a huge problem in their hand, where there is a certain negative stigma around League of Legends. Whenever you search or question online, should I play League of Legends? Most people will probably tell you,
no, run. Run very far. Do not play the game. If you want to interact with the champions, you think they're cute, TFT. Okay? You like the artwork, you like the splash arts, you like how the skins look when Riot announces them? Legends of Runeterra. But do not, under any circumstances, no matter what anyone tells you, especially if your friend says, want to play a game, do not play League of Legends.
as it will suck the life out of you. There is some truth to this, but this is kind of a joke in the League of Legends community. But an outsider may treat this statement very seriously. What's even worse is when it started to affect real life. For example, when another human being questions what games do you play? If you answer League of Legends, you might be marked as a red flag by other people. That's just how notorious this game is. As of right now, most new players probably only get into League of Legends because their friends play the game. It is very rare to see new players that get into this game by themselves. And this is probably because of the bad reputation this game has. If Riot wants to prevent losing player base, which is definitely happening right now, they have to try to remove the stigma to attract new players, which is definitely not an easy task and will certainly take a lot of time and effort. Moving on, being a new player in this game sucks. And what makes it even worse is if you get into this game without any friends. If you are a new player in this game, you will naturally make a lot of mistakes, and if you are lucky to have friends to play with, the worst and natural reaction they could do is to call you out. However, if you are playing solo, you will get flamed a lot by those smurf accounts for every single mistake that you make in the game, which makes pre-level 30 experience feels torturous. The main issue right now is that there are a lot of pre-level 30 accounts pretending to be new players. It is totally fine if these players would teach new players in the game, or even help to carry games, and most importantly, have sportsmanship. However, what is not fine is that these players would show bad manners towards new players, which sets the tone towards the entire game. I personally feel that Riot should be stricter towards pre-level 30 accounts that is especially showing bad manners in the game. What Riot should also do is to introduce a new feature to inform teammates that they are playing with an actual new player, and not a smurf. It is extremely easy to differentiate new players and smurfs. For example, observing the players through their overall KDA, win rate, or even much simpler, the numbers of games they have played. I'm sure this is something that everyone has experienced if they have played League of Legends. You are having a bad game, which is normal, and someone in game, be it your teammate or enemy, will tell you to go F yourself and queue up in AI instead. Well, I'm sure there are a lot of players, especially those new players, and players experimenting champions or build that will actually play AI if it wasn't dog shit. As of right now, playing against AI doesn't give much benefits, as the AI in League of Legends is actually brain dead. They do not gank other lanes, they do not clear jungles, and they do not roam at all. All AI does is trade in lanes, and if they got low health and somehow didn't die, they will just walk back to the fountain and repeat. This is obviously very different from the actual League of Legends experience. However, after digging for information on this, it seems that Riot has acknowledged this issue and have plans to revamp the AI and will release it on the later half of the year. In the blog post, they mentioned that bots will be able to gank, jungle, take objectives, work more cohesively with each other, and there'll be bots that can react to meta shifts within the game. Other than that, they will be trying to introduce bots of more champions in the game that scale to match a player's skill level, which hopefully provide challenge to all players. Next, this is something that sparks a discussion on Reddit only a couple of days ago. When you create a brand new account, not all summoner spells are unlocked. Players will have to level up in order to unlock summoner spells. The most important spells in the game, which is Flash, is unlocked at level 7 and Smite at level 9. This is not a huge issue, as you will probably unlock these summoner spells by playing only a couple of games. Or if you're playing with friends, they probably knew that you don't have Smite. However, this becomes an issue if you are being forced to play into jungle role pre-level 9 and you are playing solo. I believe that a game has to be fun from the start, and being forced into a role and not having the necessary summoner spells is not fun at all. It is frustrating not only for the players being forced, but also other players in the game. Personally, I feel that Riot locking summoner spells from the start is unnecessary, as new solo players will probably look up guides online, and those that play with their friends will probably be taught which summoner spells to use in the game. Also, Riot could also give information on how to use different summoner spells in the tutorials. As of right now, it is extremely hard to get into League of Legends from a perspective of a new player, as currently there are 163 champions in the game, and all these champions have different unique skills that players have to understand. It is not a big issue if the skills of these champions are simple. However, most of the champions released recently have a very complex skills and mechanics. It is not easy even for veteran players to fully understand what certain champion does in the game, which makes it even worse if you are someone that just got into League of Legends. And don't even get me started on item customization. The current champion select is absolutely fine, but it could be improved by letting players sort the champions in order of difficulty and also give a preview of the champion skills once you select it. Remember how I said a few moments ago where I said a game has to be fun from the start? Well, as of right now, for a brand new account, all champions are locked behind Blue Essence, even those that has been available since Season 1. This is just my personal opinion, but I feel that there should be champions in the game that should be unlocked the very moment you create an account. This gives new players more chance to experience different champions in the game and also discover what kind of playstyle they are leaning towards. For example, champions like Garen, Darius, Ahri, Tristana, Ashe, Teemo, or basically any other champions that is released years ago and does not have complex skills, is those that should be unlocked from the start. Also, the problem with buying champions using Blue Essence is that you can only refund champions or skins bought using Blue Essence or Riot points a total of up to 3 times. I feel that items that is bought in the shop using Blue Essence should not count into this, and should be able to refund multiple times. This can cause an issue for new players as the champions they bought might not suit their playstyle, and hence a refund is needed. Moving on, as of right now, it takes new players over 120 games just to reach level 30 with EXP boost. Casual players, which consists most of the player base, probably only plays a couple of games in a day. Let's assume that most of us plays 4 games a day on average. With this consistency, it will take most of us an entire month just to reach level 30. Personally, I feel like this is unacceptable, and I feel that it should be a lot easier for new players to reach level 30. I know there will be a lot of you guys that will say these new players will not be ready for ranked games. But let's be real here, unless you are a challenger player, you will never be 100% ready for ranked games, as there is always a chance you face an enemy that is much better. And I'm just going to put it out there, if you are a new player that has never touched a mobile games, you deserve to be in silver rank or below. Of course, it is possible for new players to get into gold and above, but those are just a small minority. Also, with the removal of ranked game promotions, it will be a lot easier for all players to rank up without feeling the fear of demoting. Before the video ends, I have to give credit where it's due. This is going to be a hot take, so you can go ahead and disagree on this. Despite the huge learning curve in the game, I think that it is slightly, I repeat, just slightly, easier to get into League of Legends right now than in the past. The addition of jungle buffing guide in the minimap is very helpful towards new players so that they will know which jungle mobs they have to clear. You know what? Riot should actually create an entire tutorial on the basics of jungling, because as of right now, there is no way a new player would understand how to jungle in the game. What pisses me off is that how is there no jungle tutorials when the game has always had a concept of jungling since season 1? This makes me question Riot. Are they that lazy? Or did they even try playing the game? Or even leveling a brand new account by themselves? The changes on the item shop in pre-season 2021 gives players an easy understanding of which item they should build. To improve on this, Riot could also create a feature in the game or client to recommend players on the popular item builds for each different champions. Without these two existing features, there will be a lot of new players that will feel lost in the game. Last but not least, if you are thinking, should I play League of Legends? I would say yes, do give it a try, since it is a free game after all. If possible, play the game with friends that can teach you how to play the game. And do expect to lose a lot of games. Do not feel bad about it. Just like every other game, it is extremely normal for new players to have a hard time adjusting to a new game. If you are a new player and somehow watching this video, there are also Reddit communities such as Summoner School, which is dedicated towards learning and improving on League of Legends. Also, remember that the mute button exists, and try to make use of this button to shut off toxic players in the game and prevent them from living rent-free in your head. Once again, thanks for watching till the end, and I'll see you soon.